We're at DatacenterDynamics London 2011. We have with us Rob Coupland. He's the Chief Operating Officer at TelecityGroup. Rob, thank you for joining us.
That's all right, you're very welcome.
Rob, you guys have, TelecityGroup has gone to great lengths to optimize energy efficiency of your entire data center fleet to comply with CRC. What can you give us kind of a high-level overview of what you guys have done? And you actually achieved really high score in the league table.
Sure. I mean, I think the first thing to say is that CRC is one of the reasons that we did that, but it wasn't the only reason, and this was actually something that was already on our agenda. It's important from a kind of regulatory point of view, which is where CRC comes in, but also increasingly it's on the agenda for other stakeholders, certainly on the customer agenda because of the cost of power, so it's very much a part of their buying criteria now. It's on the investors' radar, and of course, it's on our finance director's radar because power is a huge part of the cost base. So, CRC was one part of it, but it was already a program that was well underway for us. So really what we started doing several years ago now was looking at our data center estate and thinking about how we could drive efficiency into it. And again, I think it's, we're studying this show at the moment, and there's lots of great technologies here that are going to drive change in the sites that we might build in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years time. Actually, one of the things to recognise is that the starting point is the sites you've already got. The power that we're using at the moment is sat in sites that, some of which that are 10, 12 years old. So for us, we initiated a program that looked at not only what do we do in the sites we're going to build in the future, but how do we optimise the ones we've already got and take that in a very structured way.
And is this a specific program that you guys have implemented, or is this something you've always done?
Yeah, no, we implemented an energy management program around about 3 years ago now, and one of the tools we used in there was the EU Code of Conduct for Data Center Operators, which something that we took part in and been a strong advocates of, because what that gives is a very clear framework of best practice to adopt into the sites, and again, just kind of simple things that can make quite a big difference. So what we set out on was a program to think about how we could drive energy efficiency, and we went through that site by site and literally audited each site to find out what are the things you can do, and there are lots of simple things that actually essentially come down to just good straightforward best practice and good operational practice. So making sure your airflows are right, clearing up the any leakage you've got in the floor tiles, putting in blanking panels to make sure you get rid of some of the hot spots, and then starting to look at the way you optimise the air conditioning and the airflows. So lots of things that you can do just very practically to start to drive it down.
Can you give us any rough before and after metrics?
Yeah, I mean, what we did, we decided to go pragmatically at it. So what we did was look at each of the sites and work out what the trade-off was between energy that we could save versus return on investment. And some of those are really simple and they don't really cost you anything. But then looking through into places where we could spend money, and one of the early wins there was retrofitting variable speed drives onto crack units. Fairly small investment for each drive, obviously a lot to do across the estate, but paid back within months, not years. So working through things like that. So we, initially we invested somewhere around £1 million, and we got the payback on that within 12 months. And obviously from there we're now looking at more major infrastructure upgrade work as some of our infrastructure now is 10, 12 years old. We're getting into the natural refresh cycle now on some of the cooling plant, and there's a lot you can do there as you refresh that to use much more efficient technologies than were around 10, 12 years ago.